It's M2KC going up against Cloud9 for our next series of the day. Of course, M2KC are the defending champions from Cup 5, and Cloud9 are without Snuts. So favor for M2KC here. The loser of this one actually drops down into the move in the lower bracket, so the move will be hoping probably that it's Cloud9 without a rogue on their team rather than this Paladin that has been causing them so much trouble. I'm Healing Side, I'm your host. We have Benruki, Supertees, and Zika on the desk for us here, and I think it's fair to say that we're putting slight favor towards M2KC here, but Cloud9, they still have their Mage Lock Druid available, and I'm actually very curious if M2KC can beat that, because it has been close games in the past.
It's been close games in the past, but I feel like lately, at least when they fought off, I felt like that went in favor of M2KC, and it was a big reason why they started playing that Rogue Mage Druid a lot more. You know, when Resurgent beat them as well with that Rogue Mage Paladin as well, it just felt kind of hopeless for Cloud9.
Yep, we'll have to see if that does continue to be so. Wow! The poll is actually 50-50 between the two teams. It's very rare that we see that. Yeah, I mean, we've seen like 48-52, I think, but a pure 50-50. You guys really undecided, betting on Chanimal. I don't blame you. I think Chanimal, you know, we had him as the MVP, a couple of us, so he has been a big instrumental factor. Ooh. But it is going to be Wealthy Man returning on the Rogue, and this is very much Super Frogs of 2018 coming in here.
This is so interesting. Wealthy Man on the Rogue, I really did not expect this, but these guys have been playing Rogue Warlock for literally years and years. I think 3 years back, they played it at one of the spring tournaments, so this is something Cloud9 knows quite well. Wealthy Man actually is a really good assassination rogue. If he's been practicing it and having it prepared, I feel like this is a matchup where, I mean, this is really interesting.
All right, let's see if they can pull it off here. Obviously, Snuts not available to play, so Wealthy Man going to be substituting in on that assassination rogue, but they played Warlock Rogue Shaman in years past, so they're definitely experienced together with this style of composition. They saw yesterday AWC having success with it, so perhaps it can outdo M2KC, and if they can manage to win with Snuts on what I think is a sabbatical, that's very impressive for Cloud9. It's very risky for Cloud9, though, to not have Snuts. They could potentially get passed up on the overall point standings, lose their #1 seed. That would be a devastating way for them to start this. No, they can't. It's impossible.
I think it's almost impossible. They are.
Even if they outright lose to the next two teams?
Lose. Maybe.
Chanimal in big trouble here. Going to be caught up in that smoke bomb of Roasties, but he's going to be making his way out of that one. Cubs is in a Garrote silence right here. Chanimal's going to have to use his unending resolve to get out of that one, but he's trying to reverse the pressure onto Jamili. Rubcub deflecting with that Hand of Sacrifice, and I think I'm going to go with the rest of the desk here. I think that it is quite impossible.
It's 440 to 400 right now.
Yeah, it's actually closer than I thought. You're right. They could actually get taken by M2KC here.
They're going to lose right now, probably. Chanimal interrupted.
I think that's it.
M2KC close it out.
Wow, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Wealthy Man playing on the Rogue, it's something that we've seen him do in the past, but ultimately, this matchup is heavily favored towards M2KC, right? Quite frankly, anything that isn't Rogue Mage seems to be challenging to beat M2KC here. And you're right, I actually thought that Cloud9, you know, in my head, they're just so far ahead of the rest of the pack, but it's actually only 40
overall,
points.
yeah,
in overall they are. But in terms of season standings, they could lose the #1 seed, and I mean, we're not entirely sure what that means, but certainly I'd rather be #1 because then you avoid Method Black and you just go in with more confidence that way.
I mean, absolutely. You want to be avoiding, you know, the best teams in Europe early on, but I mean, it wouldn't be necessarily the worst decision. At this point, I feel like Cloud9, obviously they're heavily disadvantaged. The fact that they can't play Mage Rogue, because we do know that their Mage Lock Druid really wasn't the best composition into what M2KC is running, but it seems just like a similar story. Cubsy kind of getting bullied here by Jamili, by Rubcub. Lots of incoming crowd control. Chanimal really struggling to survive. Looking for counter pressure with his unending resolve, but after that, it's going to be Roasties with full control, full lockdown. And the next full crowd control chain on Cubsy, a big Kleptomania Spellsteal comes in, overwhelming damage from M2KC, and this is kind of the rinse-repeat setups that they go for, and it can be really difficult to deal with.
Yeah, and honestly, our healer MVP here making a decent amount of mistakes here. He wasn't in form for either of those Hammer of Justices, which meant that Jamili can just cast the Ring of Frost, get spell locked, cast out a Polymorph, crowd control secured, and he can do full damage as well. So uncharacteristic stuff from Cubsy in game #1, but I think they're kind of disadvantaged in the matchup regardless.
Do you think they'll go back to Mage Lock Druid?
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask. I mean, Wealthy Man, you know, like we can make these jokes, right? It's like, well, Snuts comes in, but Chanimal plays the Warlock and Wealthy Man plays the Rogue. But I mean, to be honest, Snuts has looked better on the Rogue than Wealthy Man. He probably hasn't been practicing it, right?
I actually feel like Druid is probably... Druid probably isn't the best healer to heal the Warlock Rogue maybe now into this composition.
Yeah.
Maybe they should... Maybe we could start seeing some flexibility coming from Cubsy. Playing Shaman, maybe?
Yeah.
Might be a decent answer. Playing Paladin, maybe not necessarily the best answer, but something different than the Resto Druid. I feel like at this point, the Resto Druid is too easily exploitable with the Kleptomania spellsteal. The damage the Fire Mage Assassination Rogue bring added on top of the Holy Paladin, it's just... Chanimal just falls over in 1 or 2 good setups.
I think there's a good chance, though, on Tolveron Arena that we're going to see the classic Cloud9 here, Sid. Probably just Mage Lord Druid. No, they're actually going over to Rogue Mage.
Everybody's going to play the Rogue.
Everyone's playing the Rogue for Cloud9. I actually saw him practicing this yesterday as well. What's his Rogue called? It's called, like, Champion, I think.
Yeah,
Champion.
He's very prideful of his Rogue.
He loves his Rogue. Yeah, he loves. I think Tiki Burr is his Boomkin, and he's got Champion his Rogue.
Next, if they lose this, I want to see Wealthy Man on the Resto Druid, Cubsy on the Assassination Rogue, and Chanimal playing the Frost.
This is RMD tryouts. Everybody gets to try.
All 4 members of them can play the Assassination Rogue.
This is hilarious. I'm so happy with this. I really hope they win now with Chanimal on the Rogue. It'll just be like,
really
Snuts, you can stay on vacation a little bit longer. So Chanimal's just the multi-classing god, apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, well, that's...
if we see it.
We'll see it.
If we see it win, yeah.
I was kind of wondering if this would be something that they would try, but Wealthy Man being a rogue, I figured maybe not. Interesting stuff. Rogue Mage Druid, they have won this with Snuts, obviously, so it's a big difference there, but it is a pretty winnable matchup, so it's a good map for it as well. I actually believe in Cloud9. I actually believe in Cloud9. If Cubsy has a really good performance, I believe.
Yeah, I think Cubsy and Wealthy Man are looking to carry. Chanimal just needs to... He is playing against one of the hardest compositions in the game, right? It's still Rogue Mage on the other side of the map. It is the Paladin version, which is even more scary, some would argue. So Chanimal's going to have a good game on his Rogue here. On the flip side, Cloud9, they've won this matchup in the past. They are able to win with Snuts, though I think M2KC actually got the better of them last week when they played with Snuts. So if Chanimal wins now, it would be quite something.
Yeah, but let me ask you a question, Adrian. If you played RMD and you had to pick someone to be an alt, what class would you pick?
Oh, definitely the Rogue, for sure. I think the Rogue it has this... I don't want to say the simplest, but that's kind of what I'm thinking, role here, because your goal is just sit on the mage, shut him down, and avoid dying. Don't use too much stuff offensively.
I mean, there's certainly a big difference between Chanimal on Rogue and, someone like Waz on Rogue. That's obvious. But the thing is, the Assassination Rogue, to do their job... I mean, if they can just consistently land the kidney shots, get the Garrote Silence off, land good interrupts, put out, their damage rotation, they can still be really effective. Cubsy right now in a full polymorph. Wealthy Man getting a little low. Roasty's trying to reconnect if he can. Millie gets shut down there with a full kidney shot. Double interrupt coming in. Wealthy Man still just so low. But Cubsy out of the crowd control with the Iron Bark should be able to keep him alive. Once again, takes another polymorph by Jamili. Cubsy's been in a lot of crowd control so far, and Wealthy Man is just getting struggled to get topped off. He's still just greeting it, but that was a safeguard. That was Iron Bark. That was Ice Block. That was essentially everything. Luckily, Cubsy still has a trinket, but if that gets forced out shortly, it could just be game over.
M2KC are coming out slinging here in game number 2 against Cloud9. Cubsy finally forced to use that Gladiator's Medallion on a Ring of Frost. M2KC had a perfect crowd control chain, upwards of 20 seconds plus. That was absolutely insane. They continue it with the counter spell. Insane damage output, insane crowd control for M2KC. They're going to be able to kill Cloud9 not even 2 minutes in. Iron Bark active from Cubsy. Wealthy Man taking a moment, taking a deep breath. They do still have the map advantage with Tolveron, which provides them a lot of space that they certainly need to be utilizing, but this might just be an M2KC meta.
Yeah, and of course, because of the new improvement to the UI, we can see the cooldown on Blind now, and that's not going to be lined up with Cubsy's Trinket. That's an opportunity for Roasties to make a blind play a little bit early on. Full kidney shot now on Roasties. Wealthy Man just still so low. Zico, this is such a difficult situation to be in.
Yeah, but we got a full polymorph here onto Rob Cup. We really got to see Chanimal and Wealthy Man coming out ahead in these 2v2 situations. Rob Cup's poly actually over in this situation, looking for the Hammer of Justice, but Chanimal with a nice Shadow Step kick. Chanimal actually opting to go after Roasties here, trying to keep his mage alive. There's a defensive kidney shot. Wealthy Man there's the Comet Storm, there's the damage, but there was the full blind. Actually, that was Chanimal's blind there as well used in this exchange. And Roasties has a full blind sap, and you know, Wealthy Man has no more ice blocks, so a bit of a checkmate situation going on here for M2KC. As soon as that Vendetta comes up for Roasties, I expect to see a full blind into a full sap on Cubsy, and that's just going to be the game here. Roasties Trinkets, there it is, full blind. There it is, Kidney Shot. Vendetta's going to be active when he comes out of that cheap shot. Jamili looking to swap over the crowd control, can't get it. The Hammer of Justice comes out though. Jamili, where is your polymorph? He's going to go for it. Full sap by Roasties. Jamili was still on lockout for a second there, and Jamili blocks offensive to finish out the game. And that's what happens when you trigger Ring of Frost like that, Cubsy.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm starting to regret just saying that even the Assassination Rogue has an easy task. I think in this specific matchup, every single player, at the highest level, every single player needs to play to their best. Chanimal just wasn't able to get the work done that you would expect from, you know, Waz potentially, or Snuts on the Rogue. Snuts has had such a good season on the Rogue. Cloud9 once again falling short here without Snuts, the kind of... I mean, he has been a big player for this roster in the summer season, at least in spring. They didn't really use him too much with the Magelog Druid, but here he has had an instrumental part to play on the Assassination Rogue. 2-0 in favor of M2KC, and it is also worth shouting out. I think it's really cool that we do have blind on the UI now, so we're able to kind of see that trilogy of cooldowns coming in at the end there from Roasties, the Vendetta, the blind, and the Vanish for the follow-up sap. Very well executed. M2KC take the lead.
Yeah, M2KC not giving any mercy to Cloud9, who are down a man. Snut's not available to play, as you may be wondering why Chanimal is playing the Rogue here in this specific roster. They're just doing the best with what they have, but it's not looking like it's even going to come close to scratching MMU Kitty Cats here in this series. I'm almost wondering if Cloud9 should just go back to the Mage Warlock Druid, hope for the best, bank on their experience, even though they have lost a matchup in the past, rather than trying to go for these alts that I feel like they probably left on the back burner, even on the back burner. Definitely set on low simmer for the Assassination Rogues of Chanimal and Wealthy Man. I think it would just be better for them to do that. I think actually a composition that, and you guys are going to just flame me for even suggesting it, but one that we haven't seen in a long time that maybe it's still good is the Balanced Druid Mage composition. And Cloud9 are known for their Wizard Cleave setup, so I'm almost wondering if they should try something just out from left field, knowing that they're already down a player, just to see if it works at all, because we haven't seen much experimentation from them overall. I
mean, maybe. Why not? I mean, they could play that, or they could just play the Mage Lock Druid as well. Like, Warlock's just a better version of the Moonkin right now, Super Tease. So.
Thanks.
I mean, I'm joking. I think the Moonkin could have a chance here in this series against the Rogue Mage Paladin from M2KC. Oh yeah, this isn't an online broadcast.
I saw that.
I forgot. You're just there looking at me. Oh well. Well, anyways, Cloud9 definitely up against it, and I mean it is worth noting for those of you who are just joining, they are without Snuts right now, so that explains why they are struggling. Snuts is just unable to play today, so Cloud9, you know, normally they would take this to a much more contested series. They are very much the #1 team in North America, but M2KC, they're showing how close they are. You know, they can't afford to not have that fourth member. Even with Wealthy Man, who is a great Assassination Rogue, it does look like M2KC are just wiping the floor with them.
I mean, Snuts certainly looks a little bit more polished than Wealthy Man on the Rogue, and I mean, it's no fault of Wealthy Man. At this point, for Cloud9, I mean, Snuts, he didn't play much in the summer season, but I feel like overall, he is their flex player. I mean, he's going to be playing not only the Rogue, but the Warrior. He plays Elemental Shaman. You know, basically every class you would want in combination with a Warlock and a Mage. He can play that. He can be that person for Cloud9. So not having him available is obviously... it's a bit of a crit for Cloud9 in this situation. And I think for M2KC, it's an opportunity to sort of advance in the points. And if they can get, you know, a first place finish in this tournament, if they can overcome Cloud9, that would be big in terms of their standing for summer season.
Yeah, I actually really didn't realize how close they were. Just in my head, I was thinking Cloud9's been doing so well, but M2KC's had a really good summer season here. Even the Cups, they haven't won, they've come second, but I think they've won 2 out of 5 Cups so far in the entire season. So 8.2 has been a really good patch for them. Rub Cup, we talk about him almost defying the meta when it comes to healers in North America as well. People are trying to catch up to him rather than the other way around.
Well, this is what happens when you run a composition like this. So like the Rogue, Fire Mage, Paladin, this is something M2KC, they've run for a really long time. This is basically their main composition. It has been for years. When it's in meta, Or like when it's a meta composition, they just beat everybody. I mean, they look really good. They play this composition better than anyone else. When it's not, their team kind of falls off a little bit. I think now that they have the flexibility of Rosita Jones, it's certainly nice, but you can see all the hours that M2KC has put into this composition, how well they look at it. And I really think there's not another team right now that plays the Fire Mage, Assassination Rogue, Paladin at their level. And I think they could really spice things up at the Summer Finals.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. M2KC looking like they could actually be the #1 seed from North America going into the Summer Finals. If Cloud9 does lose the series, it would definitely bode well for M2KC. They would tie up the points going into Championship Sunday and potentially overtake with victory. We'll have to see if they can do that. I actually met M2KC on the ladder yesterday running with Rosita Jones on the Fire Mage. So these guys, they just get practicing with either of the mages on their squad. Rosita, of course, came in clutch in Game 7. Let's see if they will need him again this tournament, because Method Orange would be their opponent in Championship Sunday.
This is what I love about North America. They always find a way to play the aggressive strategies to bring Zug into the arena. And when we get to the Summer Finals, that could throw a wrench into Europe, which, let's be honest here, they're kind of the dampeners. European teams love to focus on these defensive strategies that drag the fight on, whereas North America are always looking for an opportunity to get in on some fast-paced action. The boys in Method Orange, most importantly, I think have leveled up so much more significantly than where they were in the spring finals. And in spring, it seemed like the only team Europe was respecting from North America was Cloud9. But now going into the Summer Finals, I think that you have to respect all 4 teams that are going. 3 out of 4 that aren't Cloud9 have just leveled up entirely, or their compositions are more meta, such as the one of Mew Mew Kitty Cats. Certainly, it's not looking too good for Europe. I mean, I could see a spot where Europe only gets 1 spot at BlizzCon this year.
Yeah, let's not get ahead of ourselves too much here, Sid. You know, that
I think that's enough out of you, Sid.
But let's not forget, you know, first of all, Rob Cobb, he's in big trouble here. Had to use his bubble in this scenario. Actually, a really good opener for Cloud9. And Jamili is in a DR kidney shot, and that's to stop the follow-up CC here onto Cubsy. Cubsy trying to dodge the nice bash there onto Robcup to try to avoid the Hammer of Justice, so he actually can get some distance, get a couple of healing over time effects out before he gets crowd controlled. He didn't have an Iron Bark though, so Chanamon's gonna have to defend for himself. Roasty's looking for the sap, but he gets feared there. That was his Cloak of Shadows actually. So he wanted the Cloak of Shadows and then use his Shadow Meld Racial and try to get a sap at the back of that Hammer of Justice. Was denied though, and now Cubsy reversing the crowd control back onto Robcup.
Yep, definitely doing a good job of that. Roasties and Jamili both low on health in this situation, though Robcup has a fair mana advantage, unsurprisingly. Looks like the team's just going to kind of reset, give Robcup a little bit of time to top off his team. He'll be able to do that easily. Wealthman actually sneaks in with a re-stealth, able to get the Groat. Now kidney shot onto Roasties. He could, that would have been a really good opportunity for the smoke bomb if they had it. Could have been the game. Hand of Sacrifice forced out, though it wasn't available. So they do get that cooldown from Robcup. Roasties still not out of the woods. He's still not being topped off. Wealthy Man's doing such a good job bouncing between Robcup and Roasties, doing so much pressure. And this is a really good game from Cloud9. Might even get the Divine Shield here. He uses his Trinket, I believe, to get out of that situation. And Jamili's able to come back with the Polymorph. So well played by Jamili, well played by Robcup as the team looks to stabilize once again.
Yeah, this is looking not too bad for Cloud9 in this situation. They've got a lot of pressure, a lot of momentum. Right now, Roasties could be in some trouble, but it's the combustion from Jamili. They're looking to go all in on Wealthy Man. He's got no Cloak of Shadows, trades out the Feint, the Evasion, looking to stay alive. Comes with the preemptive Iron Bark. This is huge, but in the meantime, Cloud9 have found damage on Robcup. He's forced to use the Blessing of Protection. He doesn't have much defense left, but still, it's Wealthy Man in crowd control. Cubsy finally trinketing out of the blind, and Wealthy Man was able to hold on, and that was off the back of that preemptive Iron Bark by Cubsy. Nice plays from Cloud9.
However, next crowd control on Cubsy could be it for Cloud9, and M2KC look to advance. Blind is used defensively. Roasty sits it. There's the Hammer of Justice. Triple crowd control from the Mew Mew Kitty Cats. Wealthy Man is all alone, taking an explosive hit from the Mew Mew Kitty Cats. Cubsy manages to recover, but not entirely. Despite a big heal, comes crashing in. Wealthy Man holds on. That could have been the end of the match, but thanks to clutch Cubsy heals, he is going to stay alive for another attempt. However, still the same situation remains. No Glider's Medallion for Cubsy to escape from crowd control, and no way for Wealthy Man to escape from a stun either, which means with Smoke Bomb of Roasties, could be lights out for Cloud9 shortly, Zico.
Yeah, it definitely could be. Chanimal getting the spell out of that polymorph. He's going to have to do a great job here, shutting down some of these attacks. He gets the Infernal Stun, going for a lot of damage. Nice double Mortal Coil here. Safeguard proc from Jamili. Temporal Shield is active as well. He's going to bounce his HP up to those nice levels there. And once again, Cubsy getting caught out of form, which means that Jamili can go for the Ring of Frost. Even if he got kicked there, he could have landed a sheep. Another mistake here. Roasty's in a fear, dropping quite low. Rubcup taking some damage. Chanimal is actually doing a good job here, reversing the pressure, forcing Mew Mew Kitty Cats to retreat then. This game, if they can survive for a little bit longer, it's not going to look too bad here for Cloud9.
Yeah, I'm actually super impressed by how this game has gone. Game 3, Chanimal is looking insane. You know, they have a great mana lead now. They're doing such a good job defensively. A kick comes in, but the unending resolve on the smoke bomb is going to be enough to keep Chanimal alive. Huge advantage prior to dampening even starting. Now we're going to get into those healing reduction territories. How can Rubcub do in this situation? He does have Avenging Crusader. I believe that was the actual activation of it, so it's not available for 1 minute. Now, big damage from Wealthy Man. If Chanimal can get there, and he can, with the Mortal Coil, they could potentially land the game here. Blessing of Protection comes in. Do they get the Purge? Doesn't look like it. The Fell Hunter unable to get that. Rogue should be able to reconnect. Nice cycling from Cubsy, though. The pressure is unrelenting.
Yeah, Rubcub going to be in a lot of trouble. He's got 45 seconds until his Divine Shield comes back up, and right now, Cloud9, they're looking to close out the game. Cubsy on top of Rubcub. Wealthy Man lands the full kidney shot. Chanimal nowhere to be found, but he might just die anyways. Massive damage incoming. Jamili really nicely done with that crossover, but it is not enough. Wealthy Man just solos Rubcub in that situation. Extremely well played by Cloud9. This is looking like a composition that could work really well for them. I mean, game number 1 looked horrible, but this is looking like Cloud9 is a completely different animal. Yeah,
we saw yesterday Daedalus coming strong against Change My Mind. Now it's Chanimal. He's like, well, Warwick, you're going to show off a little bit. I'm going to show off on my Warlock. We did not expect that, especially considering how game 1 went.
Absolutely not. I feel like Ashramin is also not the easiest map to pull that off against, you know, these kind of comps. So definitely a nice performance there, and I think a lot of it was at the back of Chanimal. They would land the CC chain, but he would just already be in prime position. You know, Roasties would get feared up, and then they would get those Chaos Bolts. And at the end of this one as well, it was a really nice little solo mission there onto Rubcub. Unfortunately, he did fake cast that kick towards the end, but couldn't quite not get that last heal off. That was really nice here. We're gonna see it once again. Jamili is going in for the peels, but Chanimal does connect with the double Mortal Coil. Rubcub uses the Blessing of Protection, Freedom, gets around the corner, gets the Divine Light out, and then this Cyclone from Cubsy was really nice. Allows the DR for the kidney shot to reset while Rubcub is still low. Allows Wealthian to keep going here, and he actually throws in a couple of Luna Strikes here, adding in a little bit of damage. Jamili Dragon's Breaths Cubsy right there, and then here he goes for the fake cast. He actually did fake cast the kick, but unfortunately for Rubcub, wasn't enough to get that enough time to get that last heal off.
Yeah, I mean, such good play from Cloud9 there. Obviously, Sid will be happy. Saw some Lunar Strikes and some Star Surges coming in at the very end there. Even if it was from Cubsy on the Restoration Druid, you still got to take something for the Moonkin.
At least he looked like
that
a
one.
Moonkin.
Yeah, he looked like a Moonkin. He's not even using the minor glyph. He's a chicken. He's a chicken. Real. Okay, well, Sid's not happy. Sid's never satisfied. Not close enough, apparently. But obviously, close enough to a victory for Cloud9. They're able to pull through. And M2KC now, you know, in the past, I would have said they're probably just going to lock in the Paladin Rogue Mage every single game. But actually, we saw Rosita Jones coming in on the Death Knight to kill Seadrew. Ooh. Is there a chance that we see some sort of shenanigans like that once again?
I would love that.
I would too. That would be great.
That'd be great. I want to see the Unholy Death Knight Assassination Rogue Paladin. When they brought that out against Method Orange, I forget who it was. I think it was Roasties who tweeted out, we've been saving that pocket pick for such a long time. So excited that it actually worked. And I think on this small map, it can be really difficult to survive as a Restoration Druid. I mean, maybe with Wealthy Man and Chanimal backing him up, it might be difficult. Maybe Cubsy can survive. Maybe they don't even go that route. Maybe they just want to prove that they can win with the Fire Mage Assassination Rogue Paladin. But I feel like for Cloud9, this has got to be a pleasant surprise because after they lost game number 1, the fact that they switched over to Chanimal on Rogue and Wealthy Man on Mage, I mean, that looked like a complete disaster. Maybe this is something that they didn't even expect to really work, but now that it has so well in game number 3, they could take the series.
Yeah, and I mean, moreover, they did lose to this team last week with Snuts. Now they're being forced to experiment. It's something we complimented Change My Mind at the Spring Finals on. They brought in Vilay and they were pleasantly surprised with the results. Maybe it's a case of just the Chanimal effect here, Zico Chanimal. When you bring him out, it doesn't really matter what the matchup is. You always give him that outside chance of winning it. Fantastic Game 3 coming in from Cloud9. If they could reverse sweep this, it would be absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I mean, there was a reason why I picked him as the best DPS. He just has that effect, you know, that factor on that Warlock, always able to reverse situations, always able to create situations as well out of basically thin air. So he's looking to do that exact same thing here, and if they can survive on a smaller map, that's going to be a hard thing to do against Mew Kitty Cats. Immediately leading the charge here with a crowd control, and nice stop here from Wealthyman on that Assassination Rogue. Actually, beautiful stuff here. Cubs is going to be trinketing out of that blind, however, and he does avoid the polymorphs as well. Cubs needs to be really careful here because Jamila is trying to polymorph him up. Kleptomania comes out over on the Chanimal. Cubs, you know, with that Moonkin form should be able to spam out those Cyclones if he can fake cast Jamila's counterspell.
There's two strategies here for the Mew Kitty Cats. They can either do a swap to Cubsy or continue trying to survive and eventually kill the Warlock. They're going for the swap to Cubsy strategy. Barkskin may not be enough with that balanced Druid affinity. He does not have access to the Frenzied Regeneration. He does manage to clutch out a big heal and is able to recover due to the fact that Chanimal saved his Infernals for that counter engagement moment, similarly to how Walrix uses his Infernals on that Destruction Warlock. Right when the opposing team is at their highest point of damage, the Destruction Warlock counter engages with the Infernals, stunning up the push and then increasing their damage quite a lot, so they risk their own lives to make that push. Beautiful timing by Chanimal allows Cubsy to easily escape.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Rubcub's going to be in a little bit of trouble. He's still low. We did see Wealthyman basically solo him in the last game. Cheap shot out of a kidney shot on Cubsy. They're looking to get the pressure rolling, but it's still Rubcub who's low. The blind coming in. Unfortunately, it breaks. That was a blind from Wealthyman. He was looking to slow down some heals, reset a stun, diminishing return, but that instantly broke on Rubcub. Definitely unfortunate news for Wealthyman and Cloud9.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate stuff here for Wealthyman. That blind definitely could have secured him the Divine Shield there, but instead they do have some pressure here onto Roasties. Cubsies, preemptive bear form here. This is what we like to see from our MVP healer pick. Gonna be able to survive that situation, and Chanimal looking to get a couple of Chaos Bolts out. But Cubs is not out of the woods yet. He has his Barkskin rolling right now, but for how much longer? Nice Vortex, nice kick there as well on the Fire School of Jamili, while he had that combustion active, literally negating the entire thing. And that's one thing about Wealthyman on this Assassination Rogue. He's gonna be able to get that Divine Shield, but Wealthyman on that Assassination Rogue has kind of the insider scoop from playing a mage, so he knows, you know, when it can be really annoying to kick a Scorch like that. And it's plays like that that can really put Cloud9 in a situation where we could go to Game 5.
Yeah. I was just going to say, it's one thing to play a class and to be annoyed by it, but it's another thing, like when I play Shadow Priest, for example, I'm playing against a warrior, I'm like, oh, it's so annoying, he can Berserker Rage, he can Pummel, he can Spell Reflect my Vampiric Touch, like all of these tools, but it's another thing to actually just make one and then do that to a Shadow Priest. This is exactly what Wealthyman's doing. He's like, well, Jamili, I know exactly how to annoy you. He does a good job of it, but I think he's annoying Rubcub more. He's forced out the Divine Shield once again here, and the weak condition for Cloud9 is very much on par. They are looking like they could take this to Game 5.
I don't even know how Rubcub's dying. I mean, it's not even dampening. Wealthyman didn't even use Vendetta, managed to pull out the Divine Shield. It really is remarkable to me, so I'm not sure. Kidney shot on Rubcub. They're looking to shred through and force out some more cooldowns if they can. The Infernals drop down. Chanimal pushing in. This is big trouble for Rubcub. He gets the Blessing and Protection, but he's just not getting topped off. Cloud9, they are walking all over M2KC. There is just no pressure in favor of M2KC. Finally a full sap being landed on Cubsy. Really good job there by Roasties as they look to try to set something up, but Chanimals, he's going to be completely fine. Jamili just getting soloed right now, forced to interrupt the Chaos Bolt. Massive pressure from Cloud9. All three members are in trouble.
The AWC were able to win without Alec, and Cloud9 are looking like they want to try and win without Snuts. I mean, that's two competing teams without their one of their BlizzCon champions on their roster competing. Cloud9 looked like a totally new team. Perhaps they just needed some matches to warm up. Wealthy Man on the rogue here. This roguelock Druid looking strong for Cloud9, holding out to the initial aggression of Mew Kitty Cats. Rubcub swap 2 again and looking to get dropped. Smoke bomb placed. Wealthy Man gunning for the kill. Cubsy supporting with another stun. Rubcub desperately trying to escape. Divine Favor. Oh, he got dispelled on his Gladiator Safeguard. The Fell Hunter instantly dispelled the shield. Chanimal with a sick play. Wealthy Man with a perfectly timed interrupt, and Rubcub is likely to fall. They blind him on low health. He buffs it off. He's at 1% with Blessing of Protection and somehow stays alive. Rubcub pulling off miracles.
Yeah, and this is the reason why he was Sid's MVP pick. Most Paladins would for sure die in that situation, but Rubcub finds the answer, reacts appropriately with that Avenging Crusader, but he's still not out of the woods yet. Wealthy Man is actually overextending in this situation to get to him. Jamili realizing the situation, he's looking for the Dragon's Breath onto Cubsy when he comes out of that fear. Cubsy could actually get Hammer of Justice as well. Fireballs are rolling out for Jamili. He's trying to reset that combustion. Pull Polymorph onto Chanimal, gets dispelled. Another Polymorph gets feared before it finishes, and Chanimal is just doing such a great job here, controlling everyone. Rubcub is in fear, Jamil is in fear, everybody's in fear, and there's a full Hammer of Justice on Cubsy, but he gates away from it. Jamil secures the Ring of Frost, and Wealthy Man, he is in big trouble if Roses can connect that Kidney Shot. Shadow steps away, Kidney Shot Jamili. Wealthy Man doing a great job here, basically cosplaying his mage, kiting Roasties around like that.
Yeah, I mean, Wealthy Man, you know, he hasn't had to play Rogue the entire year, probably. This is the first time I imagine he's picked it up in quite some time, given Snuts is on their roster, but he's easing into it. He's getting better every game. Now he's running circles around Roasties, but also looking for time on Rubcub. They have the mana lead, they have the cooldown lead. They just need to keep playing it out carefully, and I think they're going to win this game. Chanimal being kited, Rubcub, once again, excellent positioning. This is the Infernals. Is he going to be able to avoid the Mortal Coil? Mortal Coil could easily win the game. He's actually crossing the map, going for the Hammer of Justice. This is a risky play. If Chaos Bolt lands, it could be the game. Chaos Bolt with Infernal. So much damage. Rubcub, how are you going to survive?
Yeah, he's in so much trouble. He almost completely tapped on mana at this point in the game. Cubsy in a full Ring of Frost is then looking to reverse the pressure on Wealthy Man once again. Massive damage on Wealthy Man. He's got no Cloak of Shadows. Kleptomania Spell Seal comes in, and M2KC. Man, that game was looking so good for Cloud9. M2KC realizing they were in a lot of trouble going after Chanimal, trying to go after Wealthy Man. Just one or two really good setups there, managed to get them that victory. But Cloud9, maybe they discovered that this roguelock Druid setup is really strong. Yeah.
I mean, there's been a couple of times this year where, you know, I mean, obviously the teams are running with 4-man rosters, but we've seen some really exciting stuff with the 3-man rosters. Both changed my mind. They were forced into unorthodox situations, then they were able to pull through. Yesterday we saw Diabolos. Today we see Cloud9. It's really exciting to see all these players kind of like, when they're up against the wall, what can they do? Really putting them to the test as a squad. Obviously in the different metas, now that they have 4 men, they can kind of rotate a little bit more. You've got more people playing more classes, but really being put to the test here, making for an entertaining series, but M2KC too good on the day, able to pull through.
Yeah, M2KC, they stopped going for Chanimal and they started targeting Roasties, and it just went a lot better for them when they did that. They got a lot of crowd control here. Actually, Jamili doing a great job line of sighting the fears, polymorphing Chanimal on his Dark Soul, doing a really good job with that. And they know they have a nice kill opportunity here over onto Wealthy Man. They get the Kidney Shot, they get the Spell Lock on Cubsy, Smoke Bomb gets dropped, Rubcub pushes in, Hammer of Justice there onto Cubsy, and as soon as they land that, they get the Sap as well from Roasties, I do believe. No, it was a little bit later, but Roasties and Wealthy Man both kind of going head to head. There's the Dragon's Breath, Ring of Frost, Sap combo from Mew Kitty Cats, and this is the combustion. If you don't have a cloak to answer it, unfortunately for Wealthy Man, a couple of seconds left on that, you're not going to be able to survive. So much damage coming in, and have a nice counterspell there onto Chanimal as well to make sure that he can't spam out those fears.
Yeah, and that means that Method Orange versus M2KC will be a rematch on Championship Sunday. You guys are going to want to make sure that you catch that. A lot of seeding on the line. If M2KC wins this cup, very likely they will be the #1 team representing North America. And I guess, Sid, this is the time for you to say how proud you are of Rubcub, because he had a crazy series there.